All right, we're back in the game. We are here. Welcome, everybody. Let's go ahead and get right into it. We will consult the wheel of morality for topics that we don't feel, one way or another in, and we'll hit that bridge when we get there. But the first topic is...
I love this. I'm like awake for once. It's not like midnight. I'm like, yeah, let's do it.
The energy's here. Let's see if we get a...
This is gonna be hot.
Let's see if he can put up a better fight this time. We'll see what's going on. So far, I've been getting these. Domination. Better Spider-Man, Peter Parker, Andrew Garfield, or Tom Holland? Now,
we can pick any of them.
We talked about this. We talked about this on Change My Mind yesterday, right? Last night on your channel, Popcorn Planet, where I'm there every Tuesday.
Every Tuesday.
So you were saying passionately how Tom Holland is a better Spider-Man than Andrew Garfield.
Yes.
And I instantly was ready to take that challenge on your channel, on your show. You said, man, let's make it a yin and yang topic. I said, done. Here it is. We don't need to spin the wheel on this one. You're going to vote.
I'm down. I'm watching. I'll fight for Thomas. No, so what are we doing? Peter Parker, Spider-Man. It's the combo, right? We're not just like doing some semantics. We said Spider-Man.
It's the combo. Spider-Man means more.
Good. Is Andrew Garfield the worst Peter Parker we've ever had? So I feel very confident.
And Tom Holland is the worst Spider-Man we ever had. So I feel great.
There we go. Perfect. So let's
All right, so since you're the guest, I guess you'll be able to go first. 10-minute timer. We're gonna go ahead and start it. You start the debate, and then you go, then I go, and then we just free for all. That's how the format is. Time. Go for it.
Look, Spider-Man is Peter Parker. You can try and I know this is what's going to happen. We're going to say, he's good Peter Parker, but he's not good Spider-Man. Dude, they're the same. They're the same person. And if you don't have a good Peter Parker, you don't have a good Spider-Man. Just because he's under a mask just proves anybody can do it. There's no acting. That's a CGI mess that's jumping through the city. That's not Andrew Garfield. You think Andrew Garfield jumping around in the sky? No, he's voice acting. Anybody can do that. And I would argue Andrew Garfield and Tom Holland give the same level of voice acting that happens in those movies. It's silly. There are moments, obviously, when Garfield then takes the mask off. They both take their mask off a little bit too much, especially in their later films. I'll agree to that. They give up their identities. I guess Tom does a little bit more. We'll get to that. But my point being, Andrew's still too old for me, and too pretty boy, British heartthrob walking around. Tom is cute. Don't get me wrong. I get it. The ladies like Tom, but I feel like they came to like him after finding him. He's not like Andrew Garfield looks like a boy band guy just right out the gate. And I couldn't take him seriously in that movie at all. As Peter, as Spider-Man, he was just it was too much of why would you be on the outside of anything? Of course Emma Stone has the hots for you. This is ridiculous. He didn't feel like the everyday guy at all. Tom Holland gets that down in spades. He feels genuine. He feels real. He feels like he's genuinely learning. And I like that we got to see him more in it, making his own Spider-Man. He's building it all out. He's doing it all himself versus Garfield, which we had to watch Uncle Ben again, all the nonsense. It just overall was a better experience.
All right, that's well said. I gave Tom Holland a chance. I'm not going to lie about that. I gave him a chance. There was times in Civil War where he had potential. That was his initial introduction. And it seems like, honestly, ever since I've seen him in Civil War and I was excited for him, every time I saw him after that, he just went down. He never inclined at that moment. His absolute peak in the MCU was when he first came in 2016 to Civil War in that trailer. Hi everyone, that had everybody blowing loads because Spider-Man was finally in the MCU. And it was more epic because there was a Spider-Man in the MCU and less so about Tom Holland himself. We had to then learn who Tom Holland is. And once that reveal, that shake, that shock of Spider-Man in the MCU wore off by Infinity War and so on, we started to learn just who is underneath that mask. We started to see who Tom Holland was, his portrayal as Spider-Man, and his portrayal as Peter Parker. And the more and more that we started to see that, and the Spider-Man allure in the MCU wore off, we saw that Tom Holland just isn't that dude. He's too young, too childish. His character doesn't mean jack shit. He's a weak Spider-Man, has no spider senses, never had an actual fight in his freaking life as Spider-Man. I don't even know if he knows how to put a fist to a face. Andrew Garfield, on the other hand, and it's shocking to me how you said that Andrew Garfield reminds you of a European British boy band, when Tom Holland actually, hello, hi, all of his freaking fans are girls from 15 to 18 years old. I just wanted to bring that up. Andrew Garfield, on the other hand, his film had stakes to it. There was times where shit got serious with him and the Lizard, him Electro. The part where he lost his girlfriend Gwen Stacy, that was an emotional beat, bro. That was an emotional beat when he lost Gwen Stacy, where she at the end and he couldn't save her. It was great chemistry. It was a love story. He played a great Spider-Man. Arguably, he looks the best in the suit, and this fool's a dope Peter Parker, bro.
Well, apparently the girls think Tom Holland looks good in the suit, but we'll get back to that. Look, the only thing I'll give Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man is it was the best love story. Andrew Garfield and Emma Stone had the best chemistry by far.
Facts.
It was more of a love story than it was a Spider-Man movie. But I want to say again, and remind everybody, this is about the arguments here. This isn't about your personal emotional favorite.
All argument.
Jody already ceded the point, in my opinion, when he talked about how good he was in Civil War. Because right there...
that was a cameo!
That scene alone...
You're writing Civil War.
That scene alone was potentially the best Spider-Man we've ever had. That scene alone where Spider-Man's coming out and he's like, and he's like, "Oh my God, I'm here! I'm part of this team!" Like that was the most fun for me to see a Spider-Man do. Look, that even
the best Spider-Man we ever had was in Civil War.
That moment with Spider-Man
2
as a kid Spider-Man was just like me as a child. I'm like, oh my God, they're doing it!
And guess what, Andy? He's a kid then, and he's a kid now, and that's why he sucks.
Brilliant, and his attitude towards it was brilliant. And then when he fell, we felt bad, and we realized we put him in jeopardy. All of that was stakes. And then when the stakes got really interesting, the best scene out of all of Tom Holland's movies, that one alone surpasses Garfield by 10. But you know what other scene surpasses it by 10? Do you want to talk about stakes? How about stakes with the Vulture and Michael Keaton? What
none.
Villain. That scene in the car where
Where were those stakes with Tom Holland though? That was with Birdman.
Michael Keaton realizes who he is.
Michael Keaton.
Everything Peter Parker has is in stake. That scene was brilliant. You're just trolling if you don't.
No, that's the villain. That's not Spider-Man.
No, it was you not talking about stakes. Those were amazing
stakes. What stakes? What did he lose? What was that? What happened?
Was in jeopardy then. He realized
Andrew Garfield lost Gwen Stacy, bruh. Someone died. Andrew Garfield's girlfriend's father was murdered, and the father said, "Do not hang around her no more." And he was at conflict, at war with himself, staying away from the love of his life because he promised a dying man on a rooftop that he will not hang with his daughter. And you're telling me that those trash Tom Hollands are stakes? He had nothing.
What stakes did Andrew Garfield have?
I just told you. Gwen Stacy's father was a cop. Found out Spider-Man was actually her daughter's boyfriend. And on his dying last breath, he said, "Stop hanging around with my daughter." He said, "Promise me."
Yes. What stakes were those?
He died. He died. And whoa. He died. He had to deal with living and staying away from the girl he loved. And then she died.
Yeah, but again, you're getting stuck into the movies, which, first of all, that movie, The Amazing Spider-Man 2 is hot trash. So if you want to talk about trash movies, that is trash.
And so was Homecoming.
No, Homecoming was
sauce.
Far from Home, I might argue with you, it wasn't perfect, but Homecoming was a great
Both of them had issues.
But you're crazy to try and tell me that Amazing Spider-Man 2 is not worse than any of Tom Holland's.
Really? I'll watch Amazing Spider-Man 2 3 times in a row before I watch Homecoming.
Oh my God, I can't.
Homecoming has zero rewatchability.
No, just from Tony Stark alone, it does. Which is
no.
It's cheap that they're relying on those Marvel stakes, but it just alone, it's funnier.
Yeah, I got Homecoming on 4K, and I still ain't took the wrap off. I will never want to see it again.
I don't know why. There's a lot of movies that do that. That doesn't prove it. But you're going off on the movies. I'm focusing on the Spider-Man.
Let's do that.
Spider-Man. Focusing on the Spider-Man. And my point being, I never bought Andrew Garfield. I just never did. He did it a little dramatically. I'll give you it's a more dramatic film. Sure, if you want your drama on your Spider-Man.
It's more of a film.
Great. I wanted a more teenager and
lighthearted, kiddie, jokey. I got you.
No, but Spider-Man has real stakes. I'm not denying that. Uncle Ben, obviously.
But Toby doesn't. But Tom doesn't.
Well, Spider-Man 2 is or Spider-Verse is up there too. Spider-Verse is freaking great with stakes, everything else.
Stay with the character though.
The Spider-Verse and Spider 2 are our best. I'll get.
How is Tom Holland a better Spider-Man?
Nobody beat Toby's stakes. I feel like at the end of 2 is my point.
Okay,
so we're just arguing that. We're arguing second place, just so we're clear for everybody in the comments.
Correct.
But for Andrew Garfield, none of that affected me. No, the only thing that I said I'll cave on is I believe their relationship. But Dennis Leary as the dad, and then Ghost Dad, dude, that shit was dumb. It was so dumb. I didn't care about any of it. I genuinely cared when Michael Keaton brought it in that scene, and suddenly all the stakes came in. We're like, oh crap, you know who I am? And then the pressure of what does Peter Parker do, knowing that we're in a world with Avengers, and now he's part of that team. Those were legit stakes. The world stakes are there. He's there saying, Captain. It starts with. We meet our Spider-Man, thank God, without all the origin bullshit, and we get to the fact of like, oh, Captain America wants me? Cool, what do I do? And we get to see him genuinely like react and do it.
You're describing him to be a cheerleader, bro. You're not making a better case for him. But he's supposed to be his own hero. Forget what Captain America wants or what Iron Man wants. Spider-Man is his own dude, and Garfield was his own Spider-Man. Tom Holland is a cheerleader. Nick Fury can have a suit. Tony can have a suit. Cap. Oh my God. Sit down, little boy.
You're arguing, and it's fair. You're arguing over sort of the together, right? You're right, but sure, both of them have their faults. We've admitted this. Tobey Maguire is better. I don't understand how anything. I'm giving you high points that you cannot. You've given me no high points.
I've hit them all where you made them at.
You talked about the ghost.
Give me a point. I'll address it.
No, they're dating, and then Emma Stone died. Those are the stakes that he's a better.
Yes, those are stakes. Give me stakes for Tom right now. Give me 2 stakes for Tom right now.
The stakes I just told you. We're repeating ourselves.
What, Birdman? Birdman is not a stake. What did he do to Tom? Did he hurt him?
Peter Parker's identity. How is that not stakes?
What did
that not stakes when his identity's on the line and his girlfriend's the guy's dad? How is that not stakes?
Whose identity is on the line?
Those aren't stakes. Did you watch the movie?
I thought you were talking about Birdman now. You're in Far From Home now? Time. God dang. That's the first. No. Don't worry. I'm about to mute the shit out of you, motherfucker. I'm telling you right now.
Hey.
You know you effed up. Yeah, we needed 20 minutes on this shit. I was just beginning to peel the layer.
Why are you denying there's stakes in that?
I'm not denying those. Time. Time is up. We can't talk no more. You have a minute final round to finally convince the chat of why Tom Holland.
Fine. Jody refuses to address the specific issues, and now he's using the clock to his advantage so he can end on some of
This is the format, bro. We want a shorter time.
If you don't use that clock to address the fact that there were serious stakes in that scene with Michael Keaton, then you're just not playing the game fair.
You want me to address it? I will address it. I will give you time in my minute. On my minute, I will address exactly why.
You're me on a point where it's like, of course there were stakes, and there are stakes in Civil War as well.
What you want me to do? How do you want me to use my minute, Andy? What do you want me to address?
Dude, time me whatever you want. I want my point heard because you're just ignoring it.
No, I'm not ignoring it. We ran out of time. We needed 20 minutes.
Right, whatever. Give me 10 seconds. I don't give a shit because I'm wrapping it up. Those stakes with the Michael Keaton scene and Civil War alone were far more exciting and entertaining stakes than anything Garfield did. Sure, slightly.
You're out of the time.
My minute's up.
I didn't give you a minute yet.
I didn't finish my 20 seconds, so I'm done.
I didn't give you a minute yet.
You can win the round. I don't give a shit.
No, wait for me to give you the minute. I haven't even started the minute.
Fight.
You want me to put another 10 minutes in this motherfucker? Freak it. I'll wipe another motherfucking topic out, and we
You took me out of my train of thought, so now the whole thing's moot.
My whole thing's moot, man. You don't want them. Tom can't do it with me. I got machine guns with explosive bullets for this boy.
I'm trying to finish. You can take as much fucking time as you care because I don't care about the clock.
You're supposed to.
Those 2 points are the valid points that I don't understand.
And I will address them.
Are better by Andrew Garfield. You mentioned Emma Stone's death. That's not Spider-Man's scene. That's Emma Stone's scene. And it was
he lost the love of his life. That counts towards his character. What are you talking about? When a character suffers a traumatic loss, that is character development in stakes.
We never see him again. He's not even Spider-Man. What stakes are there? Who cares about
So the heartache and loss of a character that he has to climb over does not consider stakes.
Because it was garbage? You're right. No stakes for me. Why would I have stakes?
Okay. No stakes for you, but factual stakes. That's how we write characters in film. When a character suffers a tremendous loss in his love interest that has been there for 2 movies, that is called character development, and those are stakes. What's at stake? His girlfriend. How? She died. Tom lost nothing. You could say Birdman was serious. Yeah, he was dope. He was a walking steak, if you want to say that, but it had nothing to do with Spider-Man. Because what had happened? Birdman didn't do nothing to Spider-Man. He didn't kill him. He didn't kill his auntie. He didn't lose shit in freaking Homecoming. So where are the stakes? Yeah, motherfucker. I'm going to start my minute then. You salty son of a bitch.
I was muting my mic so you could get your timing because I was just trying to say my piece and you kept interrupting me.
Go ahead.
I don't care about the minute. Neither does the audience. Take as much as you want on this. My point is, it's like I don't have stakes.
Well, we have an hour.
And everybody's telling me about, Andy doesn't read comics. Fuck you. Who said it? One, who said I did? And two, we're talking about the movies. This isn't a question about comics. It's about the 3 movie characters who we've seen as Spider-Man. I don't see Jody mentioned in friggin' comics.
All right, we're going off.
Call me fake nerds. What the fuck are these? You come off mine. I'm going to come at them.
Get him. Bro, get him, bro. Are you calling? You want somebody removed?
Comic. Who said I did? I'm not faking that. I don't have a single Spider-Man comic back there.
Hey, bro, you got the ban button.
I read Civil War. I got all that stuff. Anyway, my point being, look.
I'm about to delete a topic. We're putting another 10 minutes on this clock so we can elongate this. Another 10 minutes is starting on this clock. We got plenty of time now, motherfreaker. All right.
Isn't that more fun? That's all I was getting annoyed about. I'm like, wait a second. But who wants to talk? Go
ahead. No, go ahead.
Look, where I'm hung up on that point because I don't understand, and now I can be a little less intense because it's like the clocks makes sense.
That's why it's awesome.
I know, but I don't understand why Gwen Stacy dying, and because we don't. I hear you. I'm listening. Trust me, I get it. That's legit. They killed off Emma. Like that was a big move, but it was done in a shitty movie that we never got to see the characters again. So therefore, the stakes aren't as important to me. I just don't care. Like why? So that is your highlight moment. That's better than Spidey showing up to beat up Captain War and seeing a genuine kid like, oh my god, I'm here with that was to me that was a Spider-Man moment. That was amazing. That scene with Michael Keaton in the car, that was one where I'm like, oh,
that was
shit.
dope.
That was a dope scene. My point is, Tom Holland, like
no
it or
stakes,
not,
though.
Spider-Man has had dope scenes that felt like real Spider-Man moments. Where Andrew Garfield was just like. He was the British hunk with the spiky hair. I love you, Mary. Come on, and he was skateboarding to Coldplay music. Like that was not. Sorry, there's nothing at all with stakes. The first one was slightly better. I'll grant that. And then the second one just completely blew up in itself. I'm like, why am I even watching this? So the problem is, did Tom Holland have problems in his movies? Sure, I'm not going to say he's perfect. That's why I said Toby's best. But, Toby fucked up with part 3 too. But my point is, there's more moments that none of your moments are, affecting me. And if they affect you, audience members who are voting, then more power to you. I don't understand how those moments are better than the moments Tom Holland has given us. And those outweigh, and to me, earn the points.
Okay, I'll let you speak. I'll let you say what you had to say. Now, I would love to say a response to what you just said, uninterrupted. Of course.
Go for it. I love it.
All right. So in Homecoming, you don't want to identify Andrew Garfield stakes. That's fine. That's you personally. And your argument is because we had those stakes in part 2 of Amazing Spider-Man, because there was no Amazing Spider-Man 3, they don't mean as much. I think that's a really weak argument, and I'm going to pick that apart right now. Stakes are stakes, period. Whether there's a sequel or not. What about solo films? If they don't have sequels, they don't have stakes. What is this? The father died, his daughter died, and then in Amazing Spider-Man 2, they started to delve deep into why his parents died. They actually gave extra. Oh, can I throw in a little bit of an Uncle Ben's death in there too? When it comes to stakes, Tom Holland can't even mow Garfield's lawn. All right, moving on to Homecoming. You mentioned and you replied that stakes from Homecoming, and you went straight to the only scene in Homecoming that actually had some feel to it. And I'll give you that. The scene in the car where he found out that Tom Holland was actually Spider-Man, and he leaned over in that back seat. He was like this. He leaned over and said, "Oh, I'll hurt you. I'll kill you." And I was like, "Woo, I feel some chills." But those still aren't stakes. That was a heart-pounding performance. It was sinister. I give you that. Stakes? No, because what would he have had done for it to be stakes, Andy? He would have had to execute said promise. Meaning, had he shot Tom Holland at the dance in the gut and he bled out on the floor and that's when it becomes stakes. Birdman was nothing but empty promises. So when we go to Homecoming, there's really no stakes there at all. And then you have the sequel to that, which doesn't really matter. I just wanted to point out Andrew Garfield has a bit of stakes. Now, as a Spider-Man, Andrew Garfield had the full arsenal of his weaponry ability. There was nothing the man couldn't do, from his epic swings to his web shooting. Oh, and one more thing. What's the most important Spider-Man power? Oh, his spider sense, which Tom Holland still don't have. Well, they kind of hinted at it at the end of the last movie that we just saw. I mean, come on, man. How do you defend that?
Well, I haven't defended that because there's a reason I didn't bring that up.
Jeez. That's like Superman that can't fly.
Well, I was going to say, though, you're so stuck on stakes. Like, fair, hear you. But my argument is, like, none of these movies have actual stakes. I just don't. They all come in the
superhero stakes. Superhero stakes.
Superhero stakes. So you're, like, giving Andrew Garfield's movies way more props than I think is fair, is why I was getting annoyed. Because those moments you're glossing over that you admit gave you chills, those are more important to me than the stakes of a superhero movie. Like, the moments that genuinely make us go, oh, damn. Like, what? That's so cool. That's what I want, right? And so I'm going after the fanboy moments is what I'm calling Tom Holland's moments better, because I feel like it's not just the actor, it's the movies. It's like, I feel like in order to make you gotta go through better movies.
No, you're putting it there. No, it's the character.
Everything you're arguing about stakes could be a different actor. You're talking about story. Stakes is story. And so
tied to the character. That's tied directly to that character.
But that's story.
No, for the character. It's the character that's experiencing and suffering it. Yeah, that makes him better in the next film.
That has nothing to do with Andrew Garfield. You've never once mentioned his performance. Now you will, because I pointed it out to you.
I just told you that he had all of his power and he was a great Spider-Man with his epic swings.
Exactly. You're talking about story elements. My point is, like, from a performance of the character, which is what
performance. Oh, Tom Holland, the dweeb,
Tom versus Andrew,
the scared little child. Tell me how the little child had a good performance.
Well, but to me, that's more Spider-Man. He's like a high school student and he feels
for
like
5 movies.
Who's not as smart and like not as like socially obvious and as sarcastic,
zero growth,
awkward. Those are the types of qualities that I sort of look for in that Spider-Man.
Yeah, I do too, Andy. I look for that in the first movie.
Andrew Garfield's awkward is his like weirdly overly acting stutter thing was just like a complete like, what are you doing, dude? It was like a really good, he's a very good actor, like trying very hard to like over method his spider. It was just the most annoying thing to watch ever.
I disagree.
Only thing he was good at was macking on the hot girl.
He brought the best acting to the role. He's the best actor.
MJ like that. Spider-Man.
The best actor. You're trying to chop on Garfield?
No, where I'm going cutting to the core of performance. Andrew Garfield is a stuttering loser the whole movie. With his spike, MJ, and she falls for him immediately. That's not how I want my Peter MJ relationship. He needs to pine after her and have like a struggle and be the nerd who get her. And he got her immediately. And then we're in love, we're so in love, and then dead. That was the arc of 2 movies. That was a rushed job, and it was crap. That's why I don't like him. That coupled with the fact that you can make fun of Tom Holland's awkwardness and kidness, but that's, for a lot of people, that's what their Spider-Man should be. Not an overly
He's about to be 25.
But I'm saying we already got these 3 movies where I felt like, cool.
His movie was last year, and he was a child.
First Amazing Spider-Man. With the next 3 movies, Tom Holland played the younger Spider-Man that we got to grow to know versus Andrew Garfield. Is that what you're disputing me on that? They exist. They're in the canon. They're in life. What are you arguing with me about?
I'm arguing that Tobey Maguire.
I can't even predict or show you if he's doing good as
I can show you based on facts. Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire needed exactly 1 movie to grow up, and we're still waiting for Tom Holland for his 6th film. That's what I'm saying.
Right. Sorry, and I know I'm switching MJ because that was how forgettable the movie was. Gwen Stacy, Emma Stone sort of character. My point is, whatever the relationship is, it was just he was a ladies' man. He got it. He wasn't a nerd. He wasn't an outcast.
Okay.
It was Andrew Garfield attempting to try to be a high school outcast, and that was off-putting to me.
There's something very nice. There's something very nice. I'll give you that. But there's something very nice that Andrew Garfield tackled better than Tom Holland. He was a more prolific nerd. He was he was smarter. His genius was on display in his films. Tom is more, he suffered and gave so much of himself because the shadow that is Iron Man took all over that shit. He's like, stupid. Iron Man was the one who made the suit. miss me, bro. I just love seeing Andrew Garfield going there, weaving his own suit, adding his own technology to it, coming up with a rough draft of it, and then improving on it himself using his own genius, which is downplayed by Tom Holland because he's getting his shit made by Tony Stark.
Which makes no sense.
Which is why Tom Holland takes a freaking L.
No, it makes no sense how Andrew Garfield did it. I'm sorry.
He had access to the lab, to that $1 billion building. He was going to that building.
Look, in both movies, it's unrealistic. I'll give you
that. Yeah.
They're completely unrealistic, but at least we've established, okay, if anybody could do it, Tony Stark could do it. So look, I hear you, but at least it makes more sense. It's a cheesy cop-out.
Oh, come on.
But it was a convenient one. And we argued about this last night. The lack of Uncle Ben, I don't care. But the Iron Man was the Uncle Ben. That's who that was for him.
That's terrible. That's terrible.
Those moments with Tom Holland in Endgame were fantastic. I liked those moments of him trying to get involved. It was in his moment with Tony Stark at the end was really emotional.
You just reminded me of the scene.
Moments.
Cool, nice. I'm gonna end this segment before I get to my minute with this. You just reminded me of it too with Endgame. Captain Marvel comes to save the day. That motherfucking whore. And she looks down on Tom. She looks down on your Tom Holland. Hey, Peter Parker, you got something for me, kid? Yeah, take the glove. Bitch. Andrew Garfield and Toby never would have did no shit like that. You little kid. You little pussy. Freak Tom Holland, man. Time. I'm
not arguing with you on that point.
God dang it, she pissed me off.
Marvel. This isn't a Captain Marvel debate. I don't think that would be. We should.
Hi, Spider-Man. What's your name?
And Captain Marvel.
She was talking to him like she was a cop, and he was a little boy from the 1950s with a wowie pop in his mouth. Hi, police officer. Ugh. Freaking grow up.
I'll just change. I'll make all space battles have no stakes because I'll just fly through the spaceships.
Ugh.
Star Wars and Avengers did that trick where it's like apparently there's no threat anymore.
She can fly through any shit, bruh. All right, let's get to the 1 minute speed round, and then we're gonna get to the donations. And let's go. 1 minute starts with me. I got it. Yeah, because you went first, and I'm going first with the speed round. All right, so I'm gonna put the news on the back. Andrew Garfield was actually Spider-Man. He looked the best in the suit, a suit that actually he created. He had tons of stakes. He had to learn what it was to be a man, losing actual Uncle Ben, which Tom doesn't have. He had an Uncle Ben. He lost and suffered through that. We talk about Sally Field, who is really a real good Aunt May. And then we had to go with him falling in love with Gwen Stacy. And somehow in one film, 2 films, Gwen Stacy meant more to me than that whack Mary Jane from Tobey Maguire's whole trilogy. That's how you do it with good acting performances and chemistry. Then he had to figure out that her father doesn't like me, and now he found out that I'm Spider-Man, and on his deathbed, he looked me in my eyes and says, promise me you will not keep her around. And then he was shunning her away and had to shun away the one you love so much, only because you're Spider-Man. And what did he choose? He chose to still be Spider-Man and shun her away, and then she died. This character had a huge arc, and I just wish we had the 3rd movie. Tom Holland sucks. You got it.
Look, Tom Holland doesn't suck. He's relatable. He loves the part. He got Sony and Disney together. The dude's passionately into this role, and the fans love him. He's more so than Andrew Garfield ever was. And Andrew Garfield overacted the role, didn't look the role, didn't feel the role. I will see it, and I see a lot of comments like, look, there are clearly more amazing Spider-Man fans than I expected, but because the movie was more dramatic. I'll give that. This is a more comic book movie. It's a different take. Look, there's going to be certain comics you all read and say whatever, but for me, I like my Spider-Man. If I'm going to go with the origin story of Spider-Man and not the adult Spider-Man, thank you for the class comments. We're talking about a young, high school origin Spider-Man in all of these versions. If I'm going to go there, I want that sort of gee whiz type of thing of stuck in those moments. And I think Tom Holland delivers that way better. Whereas Andrew Garfield was a ladies' man who got the girl and was an adult, was playing a kid, getting the girl, getting everything he wanted, and then she dies. And which to me is no effect because those movies don't matter. They're nothing. They're gone. We knew it watching as Sony forced all those villains in and did everything they did. That movie was a train wreck. So
3, 2, and he's 1 time. There it is. You had that little extra because, I started the clock late. But anyway, there it is, ladies and gentlemen. God dang, if that wasn't a freaking heated debate. I love that shit. Very fire. Very fire.
I feel better we can actually say our piece.
You got it out. That's what happens. That's the genius of it. You got to really structured that time